So what is Tempe Accelerates?
This is a wonderful opportunity to give the presenters and the various areas that are presenting your comments. That's really what this is all about. This is a constructive process to help all the different areas of the city come together and help us all achieve our goals.
Tempe Accelerates is a way to present our overarching goals and achievements to make Tempe a better place.
We will be discussing the cardiac arrest survival rates and our council priority of being safe and secure.
These measurable goals operationalize the 5 council priorities for our cities, such as safe and secure communities, quality of life, sustainable growth and development, financial stability and vitality, and strong community connections.
So our performance measure is number 4.11 to achieve a tree canopy of 25 trees per acre on our as an average on our city properties.
This is an opportunity for the community and Tempe employees to participate by offering ideas and solutions, as well as asking questions about how to reach our targets.
I'm going to talk about 2 performance measures that focus on energy. The first one is energy reduction. So this is a dashboard showing the Kiwanis Recreation Center after the solar carports were installed, and the pink area shows you all the energy consumption at the Kiwanis Rec Center, and the green bars show the solar panels, the solar energy production.
The sessions consist of presentations from different departments and partners that show the goal's current measure as well as our target for the future. The departments also discuss the efforts and strategies we are making in order to achieve our desired performance.
And so we have a very visionary goal, and that is to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes to 0.
So we're here to talk about feeling of safety in parks, and the specific council priority that looks at or is under is safe and secure communities.
Join us for Tempe Accelerates, a series of data-driven collaborative strategy sessions to explore how these goals help the community and what we can do to reach our targets.
Okay, thank you very much, and welcome again to Tempe Accelerates. We have 2 presentations today. We're going to be hearing about City Performance Measure 2.04, city website satisfaction, and 2.05, online service satisfaction. Each of the presentations you'll be hearing today will be approximately 10 minutes. You can ask questions in the Q&A feature of the Teams application, and we will have the presenters respond after the presentation. You can find that feature in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. If you're asking about a specific slide in the presentation, please give that slide number to us so we can show it during the response. A feedback survey will be available on our website. We will provide the link in the Q&A, and we would appreciate you filling that out. In addition, we will provide links to our performance measures dashboard so you can explore others you might be interested in. There may also be some time delays or technical challenges as we go through the presentations, and we appreciate your patience as we work through those. For those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Andrew Ching. I'm the city manager for the city of Tempe. We've been doing these presentations in Tempe Accelerates for I think about 4 years now, almost 4 years. We have been excited to bring it in this online format and also providing it on our Tempe 11, both streaming online and also on the Channel 11 cable channel. So, which means you can catch it on multiple occasions throughout the week. But without further ado, we will now go to the first presentation, 2.04 City Website Satisfaction. Our presenters today will be Martha Garner, Web and Design Coordinator, and Samantha Stirk, also Web and Design Coordinator. Take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. Good afternoon. I'm Martha Garner, and I'm one of the Web and Graphic Coordinators here at the City of Tempe.
And I'm Samantha Stirk, Web and Design Coordinator for the City of Tempe. So let's get started. Today we will be discussing Performance Measure 204, Website Satisfaction. Next slide, please. Through the 2020 resident survey, the City of Tempe website satisfaction came in at 65.2%. This measurement is calculated combining very satisfied and satisfied responses. You can find this measure under Strong Community Connections. but we believe website satisfaction affects every council priority. Next slide, please. Why does this measure matter? Tempe.gov acts as a 24/7 hub for all city information, news, and events. It's the most reliable, complete city source for the community. Residents are also able to pay water bills, sign up for rec classes, and pay court fines. Through our analytics, we can see big peaks where news was released. This happened multiple times in 2020. First in March for the COVID-19 shutdown, again in June with the mayor's mask ordinance, and in August with the train derailment. Community members within the Valley came to Tempe.gov for their most direct, factual information. Next slide, please. In this chart, you can see how our 65% satisfaction shakes out. We are above similar cities of our size and the overall US average, seen here in the purple and green bars. Hitting our 71% target, the orange bar, would put us in the top 10% of all cities in the US, which we hope to achieve in 2021. Next slide, please. The level of satisfaction breakdown is displayed in this chart. The light blue and green surveyors like the website. For the other colors, we plan to make improvements to float them into the green and light blue categories. These strategies for improvement, Martha will discuss later in the presentation. Next slide, please. We use measurement tools to gather information and make informed decisions about the website. Our first tool is Google Analytics. This tracking code makes reports for page visits, traffic sources, behaviors like visitor drop-offs, demographics, preferred operating systems for mobile and desktop, and browser types. Next, we use SiteImprove, a third-party program that monitors our website weekly for quality assurance, accessibility, and search engine optimization. This is a valuable tool that goes into more detail for page improvements. Alerts include old content, broken links, misspelled words, and ADA readability problems. It also provides heat mapping to see where visitors are clicking and if they're scrolling down the page. Heat maps can be compared for desktop, tablet, and mobile views. This image is an example of a heat map. We can see where visitors are clicking by the yellow, orange, and purple coloration. This can allow us to restructure the page to make it a better user experience, so it's easier to find information you're looking for. Next slide, please. Tempe.gov has over 3,000 web pages that we manage with the help of our websters. Those pages have almost 5 million total page views for 2020. This chart is the top 10 most visited pages for 2020. The last year was a different year in many ways, and it was also different for our website. In comparison to 2019, we have our homepage, careers, city courts, and police staying strong in the top 10. A new arrival in the number 4 spot is our coronavirus page, launched in March 2020, that houses all COVID-19 related information and resources. And while people looked for safer outdoor activities, we noticed a shift to golf courses, which were previously recreation pools and classes. 2 of our subsites, Tempe Center for the Arts and Tempe Public Library, came in the top 10 too. Both have their own URLs and analytics, as well as their own site menus. 2020 was a different year for these 2 subsites. They saw a drop in traffic by about half. We would like to request questions be added to future resident surveys targeting satisfaction of these 2 subsites as well. Next slide, please. Here's a breakdown of the ways people find Tempe.gov. Over half of people find us through organic search. This is the traffic from search engines such as Google or Bing. The next big chunk is through direct traffic. The visitors type Tempe.gov directly into their address bar of their browser, or they have Tempe.gov address bookmarked. In some cases, redirects can be captured here. Referral traffic is the third way that visitors find us. Referrals are links to tempe.gov from other websites and a catch-all for traffic that doesn't fall under one of the other buckets. Social media, emails, display, other, and paid search round out a small percentage. Next slide, please. Tempe.gov serves everyone and every age. Tempe's average resident is about 29 years old. This also translates to our web demographic data, having the highest visitor group between 18 and 34 years of age. Gender also comes in close to 50-50 for both the resident survey and Tempe.gov's 2020 data. We have ADA accommodations, including a text reader that also functions as a translator when small blocks of text are selected. It's our goal to provide information to all residents. We continue to explore improved methods to make changes to ADA accommodations in mind. Next slide, please. For the first time, we have more people using mobile phones than desktops coming to Tempe.gov. Our site is mobile friendly and uses responsive design to display content on many devices. We have access to hide content and move it around to better optimize the mobile user experience for each web page. With these tools, we're able to make educated decisions and changes to the website that will ultimately lead to a better user experience for Tempe residents. Next slide, please. Now I'd like to turn it over to Martha Garner as she will discuss strategies for website improvement.
Great, thanks, Sam. So moving forward, these are the strategies we will use to enhance the user experience. Next slide, please. We will soon be starting the process of redesigning Tempe.gov homepage. We have 4 years of data on where people go, what they click on, how far they scroll, what they search for, and we'll use this information to help guide the redesign. The update will be brand focused, and we'll be exploring other city websites for inspiration and asking our residents, businesses, and employees for feedback before and after the redesign. Next slide, please. Websters are the backbone of our websites. We're looking at reducing the number of Websters in order to create a smaller, well-trained, and more manageable team. We'll be increasing communication on monthly emails that would include new features to the content management system, tips and tricks, and frequently asked questions. We'd also like to include more specialty training on forms, search engine optimization, and ADA concerns. Next slide, please. Improving user experience will include a top-to-bottom audit of our sites. We'll be furnishing department Websters with analytics showing how their pages are performing. Websters will be asked to review how the content is written and presented, and asked to review photo choices, Tempe branding, and making sure that they include search words and descriptions. We'd also like to enhance our user feedback function. Next slide. This would be our wish list, hoping for enhanced customization to the mobile view, more availability to heat maps, a possible third-party language translation, real-time chat, and improved internal search. Next slide, please. Thank you, and now we invite your ideas for acceleration.
Thank you, Martha and Sam. This is Aaron Peterson, Office of Strategic Management, and I'll be sharing the questions that come in through our Q&A feature. And for those that might not be as familiar with that, you can find that feature in the upper right-hand corner. Simply submit your question, and then I'll read those to the presenters, and then they'll share their thoughts and ideas with you as well. If I get similar questions, I may combine them, and so if you don't hear yours specifically asked, that might be why. And likewise, if we get more questions than we have time for, I'll be as diverse with the questions as I can be. With that, I'd like to share the first one that's come in. How does IT know what actions or improvements will increase the satisfaction rate? Focus groups could be a good idea.
Martha, would you like to take that one?
You know what, I'm looking for it. I don't see it on the Q&A. Could you repeat that again, I'm sorry, Aaron.
Sure. How does IT know what actions or improvements will increase the satisfaction rate? Focus groups could be a good idea.
Yes, of course. Yes. So what we're planning to do involving the residents, the businesses, and the employees is that we will utilize our online form where we put questions up there and ask for feedback. We also would probably be asking for emails to come in. And of course, we usually do focus groups after we have a new design. That's part of our plan.
Thank you. Next question is, how do you plan to involve the residents, businesses, and employees on the redesign?
Right. Well, exactly like what I just said. We'll be doing focus groups, asking for their input before and after we do the redesign. We have a lot of data that we've collected on the current design. So we know where people go, we know what they're looking for, we know where they're scrolling. So that gives us a good idea to start with some ideas, but we'll be reaching out, via the online form and emails, and of course, ending it with the focus groups.
Thank you. Next question, any plans on developing an app feature instead?
An app feature, is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yes, the question is, any plans on developing an app?
An app.
Yes.
Well, we have the 311 app currently, if that's what you mean. The app for our website, I don't know of any plans of doing that.
Okay.
But that's a great idea.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question is, why doesn't the website have more interactivity?
I can answer that one. Unfortunately, we're a bit limited with our content management system, but currently we can use forums and surveys function more creatively to display content. Also, we can display videos and photo galleries, and we're also working on more infographics to explain information and enhance the page content. We're always on the lookout of ways that we can add more interaction to tempe.gov for sure.
Thank you. The next question is, you refer to Websters. What are they?
Great question. I'll answer that one. So the Websters are city employees, and they represent the different departments. So within each department, we have different employees that are charged with creating web pages, maintaining web pages, making sure the content is updated. Both Sam and I train them. We're in communication with them, and they really are the backbone of our website.
Thank you. Next question is, since mobile views of the website are surpassing desktop views, what special considerations or strategies do you employ to make the website as useful as possible?
I can take that one. With our content management system, we do have the ability to move content around differently for the mobile view and also hide information. This comes in handy for hiding banners or large images that might slow down the mobile page speed and also make the mobile pages flow a little nicer. We also can compare bounce rates on Google Analytics to check data on mobile and desktop to see if there's any adjustments that need to be made there. And then, of course, we can use the heat maps from Site Improve that will give us great insight on what's working and what's not on the different types of devices. During our annual audits, we'll definitely be looking at these tools and seeing how we can optimize for mobile within our content management system. And we hope that we can gain more functionality to customize the mobile look and feel going forward within our content management system.
Thank you. The next question is, oftentimes when I go to the search engine and type in a word to try to find something, it takes me to a meeting agenda minute document that's dated from 1996 or other outdated articles. Any talks on removing articles or meeting minutes that are outdated?
I can speak on that. We're currently looking into improving our internal search. There's a few options within our content management system that are set up, but that is definitely something that we are encouraging to go through the website and take down some of that old information. With these annual audits, that will be definitely one of our focuses. It's important for many reasons. One, for searchability, but also just to maintain more space on our servers so that the website runs smoother. So that's definitely a top priority. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. And I'll remind everyone, as Andrew mentioned in the introduction, we also have a link on the Q&A where we ask that you, once we're finished, go to that link and give us some feedback on how this presentation went. The feedback's always so helpful because then we can make these presentations even better and more informative for you. And if you're interested in other performance measures that we have, I've also posted the link for our dashboard there as well. And then you can just poke around through there and see what's there. Notice as well that we have the contact information for both Martha and Samantha. If you do have some questions later on, do feel free to reach out directly to them. I know they'd be happy to answer questions or take your suggestions at that time as well. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Andrew to introduce our next presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Really appreciate it. Great presentation. We are now going to speak or get a presentation regarding performance measure 2.05. I am just in the middle of getting to that. I apologize. Technical difficulty. Sometimes the stream is a little slow when we are using Teams. So 2.05, online service satisfaction. Today's presenters on this item are Cindy Lachey and Mark Wittenberg. I should note that Cindy Lachey's title in my script is IT Manager Emeritus, which means that technically she is retired, but she has come back to present on this, and we truly appreciate it, and it's great to see Cindy again. So with that, I will leave it to the presenters. Thank you very much.
So hi, yes, this is Cindy Lachey, and as Andrew said, I am retired, so my new title is IT Manager Emeritus. That sounds kind of cool, I think. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Cindy, and thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it. I'm Mark Wittenberg. I'm the Deputy Internal Services Manager over Information Technology, and very glad to have Cindy here helping out with Performance Measure 2.05, which is on our online service satisfaction. Next slide, please. So Performance Measure is part of Strong Community Connections, which is a council priority that's measured by our community survey and also by the customer experience surveys on the website. We have a target of 90%, which is pretty bold, I think. Next slide, please. So if you think back to 2020, early on, I went to a conference on digital transformation, and what that's all about is how do we leverage technology to solve real-world challenges, or more specifically, how can we engage with the community and Tempe businesses in an online fashion? Now, the pandemic happened, if you recall, right after that, which really did shift the way that we do business. It shifted the way that we all work. We all started working from home and from remote. So this actually became much more critical, is to be able to provide these services and to provide these online services. As part of the pandemic, a lot of our lobbies closed, our utility billing, community development, engineering, and others. So it really became critical for us to move these services that were in person to a digital means. So we had to really figure out, how do we move these in-person transactions to online services? And so our goal is to provide that really excellent, easy to use online services. Next slide, please. So what is an online service? Well, we have several methodologies for interacting with our community and businesses. You've already heard about our website, which is typically informational, although there is some two-way interaction. But really what we're talking about here as far as online services is how do we interact with the community? What's that two-way interaction or transactional interaction, such as making a payment, like paying your utility bill, paying for a class or permit fees, or enrolling in a class, or if you want to reserve a park ramada. And the other example is how do we provide input on the various city projects that we have? Next slide. So why does this matter? This actually is so much more important, as I've mentioned, because we're working from home. So it really has fundamentally changed the way that our community and the city of Tempe, how we interact. So promoting self-service. The idea here is that instead of having to drive downtown, producing carbon emissions, parking, now you have this convenient and very available method of making payments and interacting with the city. It's available 24/7 by 365, anywhere, anytime, any place. You just need internet and a device. And then how do we create equity with this? The whole idea here is that if you really couldn't leave work in order to drive downtown and you were forced into making a payment in person, this now gives you an option for being able to do that. We also provide computers at the library, free Wi-Fi, also at our recreation centers. So the whole idea is that you have options that are closer to your home. Adding efficiencies. Now, customer service staff, we're handling exceptions, which means that we can now free up staff to help customers with those exceptions. And then finally, enhancing the city's image and brand. And the city really is a business, and we want to make it as easy, safe, and quick as possible to interact with us. Next slide, please. So we have to dive a little bit into the data. I mentioned before that our target is 90%. Currently, we're at 74%. Next slide. So what is our target? We want to hit that 90% by 2025. And you'll notice if you kind of look at the slope of these lines, we probably weren't going to make it at our current trajectory. However, like I mentioned, the pandemic has really accelerated that. So we feel that in 2021, we've added a lot of online services that's going to make a real impact to this. And then the whole idea is to keep that going and to really migrate more and more services to online. Now I'd like to turn it over to Cindy to talk about equity and online services with the next slide.
Thank you, Mark. So yes, we wanted to take a deeper dive into the satisfaction survey and understand a little bit more based on equity. So the first area we looked at was ethnicity. And as you can see, we have 100% satisfaction with those who identify as mixed race, but we have a very low 20% level of satisfaction for those who chose not to identify their ethnicity. Now, there weren't a lot of responses, though, only 16 in the mixed race and only 8 in the not identifying, with the other 5 areas within 10 points of each other. Next slide, please. We also wanted to look at it based on gender. And as you can see, the females had the highest satisfaction rate at 77.1, with those that didn't want to identify gender had the lowest at 66.7. Next slide, please. We also wanted to analyze based on age. And so for those between the ages of 35 and 44, they were our highest satisfied age range at 85.5%, whereas those in the age range of 55 and 64 were at 66.9. Next slide. And then in addition, we wanted to look at income. And as you can see, for those who said that they make less than $10,000 a year, they were our least satisfied by far at 33.3%, with our most satisfied being at over $200,000 a year in income at almost 81%. Again, low response numbers overall, with only 23 in the less than 10,000 range and 78 in the over 200,000 range. But we'd like to understand a little bit more about that low satisfaction rate for those making less than 10,000. Is this a problem with just access to online services? Is this part of what we call that digital divide? So those are some of the things we want to learn. Next slide, please. So where are we now? Well, we continue to try to roll out quality online services. So we have been rolling out our online payment portal. It is currently used by KidZone and courts, and by the end of this month, customer service will start using it. This online payment portal is a single shopping cart, so that a customer can go in and pay for multiple services with a single payment. They would be able to pay, for example, their water bill as well as their KidZone fees. We also want to ensure that it is mobile friendly on any type of device and that it is ADA accessible. In addition, we also are conducting periodic quality testing to ensure the quality of our online services that are already available. Next slide. It's always great to get a message like this that's so positive. So we heard from Tempe parent Nicole Boyd, and she let us know how much she appreciates being able to register her children in KidZone after and before and after school care or enroll in classes and make a payment online. She said it was flexible, easy to use, and once again, it's that 24/7, 365 from anywhere. So we really appreciate hearing from parents like Nicole. Next slide, please. But we do have some challenges. So there's a lot of complexity in online services. Also, there's quite a lot of different, the number of services that we have out there on a variety of different platforms, and it's constantly evolving, as it should. So we need to meet the changing needs of what the department or the business is trying to provide as an online service. Next slide, please. So what's our current strategy? Well, one is we want to identify all those walk-in services that we have in place right now and determine whether or not it could also be online, which would allow anyone, once again, 24/7 to be able to handle that service and not have to physically show up. So we're trying to identify those. We also would like to get immediate feedback on the quality of the services that are online, so that when somebody completes a transaction, that we pop up a survey that asks, how do we do? Get feedback right then. And then in addition, we want to be able to provide some real-time help with the use of maybe a chat feature or bots. Also, as also was mentioned in the previous presentation, we're always trying to help to improve that training opportunity and also provide online training for those that are putting out content. So training for those content publishers and those owners. Next slide, please. So in addition, the council has asked that we accelerate the implementation of a CRM, which is a customer or citizen relationship management solution. This would eliminate the use of multiple case management and work order systems, making it much less confusing and easier to use for the Tempe residents. It would also provide a centralized data platform and two-way communication with the city constituents. So with that, it would advance the feeling of inclusion and participation in the city's outreach programs, such as Right to Breathe or the Police Task Force. Also, we are currently implementing Medallia. It's a data analytic tool. This tool uses artificial intelligence and will identify trends from unstructured data, such as what we get through the council communicator, Tempe 311, and the city surveys, the comments in there. In addition, with quantitative data, we can make more informed decisions. And with Medallia, we'll be able to create dashboards, which will be easy and transparent to display what we're learning through this data. Next slide, please. So we would love to hear your ideas on how we could continue to excel this performance measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark and Cindy. And I'll remind everyone, in case you've joined us a little bit later in the presentation, where you can find the question and answers feature. It's in the upper right-hand corner. Simply click on that, enter your question, hit enter, and we will be able to see that, share that with our presenters. With that, I'll go ahead and ask the first question. I can see how the pandemic would accelerate the move to online services. What impact will teleworking have on Tempe's online service offerings?
I'll go ahead and take that one. Thank you, Andrew. Or Andrew, sorry, Aaron. Well, as I talked about, the pandemic has really fundamentally changed, I think, permanently the way that we do business and the way that our customers are going to do business with Tempe. I really see a lot of the companies out there discussing a hybrid approach, which really means that this working from home thing, I think, is here to stay. So that just really fundamentally just says how important this performance measure is. And so we're definitely going to be looking at how do we accelerate moving more and more of those walk-in services to online. And then that lobby staff that was helping those walk-in customers, how can they be repositioned to really help with this online format? And all of this, I really think, is going to push sustainability as far as not having to drive in or find parking in the downtown area.
Thank you. Next question is, does the city have any plans to create a mobile app to increase online engagement?
Ooh, that's a really good question. And yes, we do. Cindy talked about that big new customer relationship management system. And a huge component of that is going to be consolidating that mobile Tempe presence. And so that's where we're going to be heading with our existing 311 system, is moving more and more to that being mobile, and then working with Nikki's group and that website interface as well. And they mentioned, how many more people are moving more mobile, and we definitely want to have this consolidated like mobile offering for the city of Tempe. So the answer is yes, definitely.
Great, thank you. And the next question is there an easy way to find the available online services?
Yes, searching the website. I would say that's probably the easiest thing. And then we talked about that integrated shopping cart, all those payments in one place. And so as we implement more and more things into the shopping cart, it's going to be that single click ability to go to one place and find all the different payments and ways to interact with the city as far as those most used services. And then the other thing is again, with that heat map that you'd seen on the website, that will really help us with what are those items that people are looking for and where are they clicking. And so that will help us with the web redesign and getting those services really available.
Great, thank you. And the next question is, if I can't find a service that I think should be available online, how can I request it?
I would say there's 3 ways, which is number 1 would be the feedback form on tempe.gov. Number 2 would be the calling 311 and putting a request there. And then the third way is to reach out through the council communicator and to let your council member know that this is a service that you'd like to see.
Great, thank you. And I'll remind everyone as well that I am posting, again, the location that you can do the surveys. Again, your feedback is very helpful to us, very valuable on how we can continue to improve these presentations, as well as the link for future, the other performance measures that we have out there. So if you'd like to look at those. And then we've also provided on our final screen here ways of contacting both Mark or Cindy if you have future questions, future suggestions, recommendations. And I know they'd appreciate hearing those from you as well. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Andrew. Thank you, everyone.
Hello? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can now. Thank you.
Yeah, my apologies. Like I said, things are running a little bit slow in terms of the stream on my end today. So I just wanted to say once again, thank you to Mark Wittenberg and Cindy Lachey for their presentation. Really good information, great question and answer. And I'm excited whenever we do one of these to highlight the type of good work that our staff is doing to really advance performance measures, to really think about outcomes and using data to really enhance the work that we do. So I invite you to continue to follow along. Up on the screen, you'll see that we have the agendas for our next two meetings on May 20th and June 3rd. Both are Thursdays, and both will be from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. We're going to be tackling next time audit completion rate and cybersecurity. So as always, if you have any additional information you want to see about it, go to tempe.gov/Tempe Accelerates. Thank you once again to all the presenters. Thank you to the staff that was able to put this great show together today, and we look forward to even more delving in to Tempe performance in future sessions. Thank you so much.